So it is Wednesday, June 19th, 2019. This is the Human Resources Committee. We're meeting at the Nashua High School North Boardroom, and it is 5:40, so we're 10 minutes late. Thank you. All right, Ms. Timmons is on her way. Ms. Porter, that's me, I'm here. Ms. Oden?
Here.
Ms. Van Twyver is not here. And we have Ms. O'Gara, and that's all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, good, thank you. All right, so the first thing on our agenda is always a happy thing. We love these. We have a candidate, Nancy McGuire, for the assistant principal at Amherst Street Elementary School. So if you would please come forward. No, that's fine. That's good.
Good evening.
He's in the booth. Oh, is he? Yep, he's in there. Okay. All right, thank you. So generally, when we have someone come for a new position, we invite you to the Human Resources Committee just so we can get to know you. And what we generally do is ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Nashua.
Well, thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm so excited at the possibility of joining the Amherst Street School staff. I am currently a principal in Milford at a K-1 preschool, K-1 school. We have about 360 kids. We always say they're little, but there's a lot of them. And I began teaching 8th grade when I was way younger, and taught 4th grade for a long time, became interested in how kids learn to read. I became a reading specialist, did that for many years, and then kind of became interested in administration. I was a K-12 literacy coordinator in Amherst, Mount Vernon, Sauhegan district, and then I got this position in Milford, and I've been there for 7 years. A standalone administrator, and I just really wanted to become a member of a team and kind of broaden my grade levels so I could be with some big kids for a while. But I'm really excited about the possibility of being here.
We're excited to have you. Thank you. Do you have any questions or comments, Mrs. Oden?
I was on the interview team because Ms. Timmons couldn't make it, so I had a chance to listen to a lot of the answers and the questions. And as you know, Amherst Street is a Title I school. Can you tell me what your fit is with a Title I school?
Yes, and as I said, those are my people. That's my population that I love. I feel very close to kids who have, sometimes kids have issues. We have a lot of kids coming from trauma these days, kids with situations at home. Those kids really need us more than ever right now, and I have a lean towards the social and emotional learning piece, and I feel that that's a strength that I'm going to be able to bring to Amherst Street. I feel very strongly about it, and I will do whatever I can to try to, we have to have kids able to learn before we can teach them. If their basic needs aren't met, or they're not able to access the curriculum, or even be able to think school by the time they get there, then we have to help make that a safe place for them and let them know that we love them and they're safe there, and we'll be there for them always.
Thank you. As somebody who taught at Amherst Street School, you understand where those kids are coming from. And of course, Nashua is looking at piloting an SEL next year. So thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
I notice on your resume that you are in a Critical Friends group. You're the coach. Could you please explain a little bit about what that is? I see it's from 2006 right up to the present.
Yep. Critical Friends groups are like professional learning communities. There are lots of acronyms, lots of TLAs or 3-letter acronyms that we throw around these days for the same thing. It's basically a group of colleagues working together to solve problems and to try to find new ways to reach kids that we may not be able to reach as easily. And there's really nothing that I haven't found a Critical Friends group or a PLC to be able to be helpful with. there are always, whether it's a lesson plan or student work that we're looking at, or a problem that I have as a teacher or an administrator, I can always bring it to a group of colleagues, and I'm always, always kind of surprised and really pleased with what comes from it. Nice to have a lot of brains together.
You all set? All right, well, we're very excited to have you to join us. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to make a motion in the HR committee to bring your name forward, and then it will go to the full board at 7 o'clock, well, not right at 7 o'clock, at some time during that meeting. So I move to nominate Nancy McGuire as Assistant Principal for Amherst Street Elementary School for the 2019-2020 school year at an annual salary of $82,250.
Yes, second?
Okay, and the two of us will vote. I vote yes.
Yes.
Ms. Oden, yes. Unanimous. You're welcome. You're welcome to be in Nashua. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much.
We're looking
I'm
forward
really
to having
excited.
you here. Very
Thanks
good.
a lot. I'm
Okay.
absolutely thrilled. Thank you.
So Mrs. Timmons is on her way. So I'm going to ask Mrs. Oden, if it's okay with you, we have the open forum for the non-affiliated. Should we wait for Mrs. Timmons to be here to do that? Or- Yes.
I would wait.
Yes, okay. So I'm sorry to have you wait, but she should be here any minute. So we'll skip down to personnel recommendations. So we have a revised sheet that Ms. O'Gara just passed out today, this evening, and that's what we were kind of looking at. So Ms. O'Gara, would you like to speak to that, or how do you want to?
Do you want me to speak to the adjustments that we have to make?
Yes, please.
I'd be
I think that
happy
would-
to.
Thank you very much. So
I would be happy to.
Thank you.
So we have a duplicate resignation, which is, I know it's number, no, you can't find it when you want to, right? Do you see it?
do you know what's the
It's
duplicate?
a resignation. Yeah, 39, and the name appears twice for the resignation.
Number 8.
Is it number 8? Yes.
Okay,
So do you want to strike number 29
okay.
from the personnel?
39.
Yep, strike number
Sorry,
39.
39,
Thank you. We're all working together.
yeah.
Okay.
And there's a Mount Pleasant nomination on here for a grade 5. And that is actually, it's the same candidate. It's the same candidate, but it's her board sheet from 2 years ago for a different position.
Okay.
So I
What
think
number is that? I'm sorry, what number?
she is number 31. So we'll strike that, and then at the next HR, we'll come in with the correct sheet.
So can she still be, can we move her name forward and just say the sheet will be corrected, or do we have?
If you want to, you can. I can tell you that she is going into a grade 2 position at Dr. Crisp Elementary. And I can tell you that there were over 10 candidates that they interviewed, and that there was close to 10 people interviewed her, and the rest of the information on the sheet about her GPA, her college experience is correct. She did work in 2017-18 for us, and in 2018-19, and now she's going into a grade 2 at Dr. Crisp. So you can make that, put her forward if you wish.
So
So
why don't we amend number 31? The nomination for grade, what grade did you say?
Grade 2, Dr.
Grade
Chris.
2 at Dr. Crisp Elementary for the 2019-2020 school year.
Yeah.
And is
And
still
her
a bachelor's?
salary is at bachelor's step 2, 41,596.
Can you say that number again, please?
Yes, 41,596, bachelor's step 2.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
so that nomination is for grade 2 at Dr. Crisp Elementary School for the 2019-2020 school year, bachelor's degree, step 2 at $41,596.
Okay, beautiful. Were there any other?
And motion to remove number 39 from the list as it is a repeat of number
What number is that?
8.
8.
Number 8.
Okay. All right, I'll second that. Okay. All right, so we'll vote on that. So Mrs. Porter votes yes. Mrs. Oden?
Yes.
Ms. Timmons?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So do we need a motion for amending number 31?
Excuse me?
Do we need a motion to amend this one, since we made a motion to strike that one?
We
Number-
made the motion to amend number 31.
Yeah, so we'll do that. We didn't do a motion,
I thought we did.
did we? Did we vote on it?
I thought we did.
We did? Okay. Just want to be sure everybody is hired and everything is done well. Okay. So, Ms. O'Gara, are those the only two changes that we need?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right. So I make a motion to accept the personnel recommendations revised version of June 19th, 2019 with those two changes
As amended.
as amended. Okay, will you second?
I second it.
Okay. Mrs. Porter votes yes. Mrs. Oden?
Yes.
And Ms. Timmons? Yes. Okay, so that is done. Very good. All right. So, Ms. Timmons, would you like to, we waited for you to get here for the open forum for non-affiliated handbook.
This is my favorite.
Okay.
Do we have anyone from the audience? I don't have it. This is not working.
Here, use mine.
Hello, do we have anyone from the audience that may like to speak on the non-union affiliated employees handbook? All right, can you come forward, please? State your name.
Do you want to sit here, or you could sit over there? Okay.
Is the mic on?
Find out.
It's on.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Brooke Tamposi. My position is a technology integration assistant between Charlotte Ave and Broad Street Elementary Schools.
Right, thank you.
I'm coming in this evening to discuss the health insurance for the non-affiliated group. The technology integration assistants are a group of 8. We are not affiliated with any of the unions. And during this past year, when the health insurance came up for open enrollment, my health insurance went up 33%. So I wanted to, if it wasn't on your radar that had occurred, I wanted to bring it to your attention. Being an hourly rate employee, that the hardship is great. So to go from, I don't know if specifically you'd like numbers,
11%, 11.3% it increased.
11 point. So I mean,
It's
My-
still a hardship, right?
it is still a hardship. My paycheck went from $300 to $190 per week. There may be dental that may have been included in that, so perhaps that's the difference in the percentage.
Dental is free for you, but if you have family members, you are paying the full cost of the dental for them.
Yes. So for the health insurance for because we do it for 37 pays, my whole health insurance was, I'm going to round the numbers, 3,900. And for the new 37 pays, it's 6,100. And I just wanted to bring it to the attention that it's a hardship.
So it is
Dana?
true that, so the 37 pay people have during the school year to pay for a whole year of health insurance, where most of our employees have all through the summer. So the 26 paid teachers and administrators that are 26 pay, we all pay the same amount, right? The health insurance is the same. We all pay the same amount, right? It's an 80-20. But what happens is we have more pays to spread our cost over, but these guys only have it because that's the only time that they're working and they're getting paychecks. So their amount is more than ours. And I think that's what you are seeing, that it's
Yes. So because our position doesn't receive all of the paid holidays that some of the other positions receive, we don't have the buffer of having those extra additional paid days. And I don't know if I can offer any solutions other than to ask that perhaps in the future that you consider putting a cap on the percentage that can be put forth to this group of unaffiliated members, so that it's less of a sticker shock. The other possible option could be a suggestion that for this group of 8 people that work in the district, that there could be a larger contribution by the district or by the board. I don't know if that's possible. I recognize that your hands are probably tied to be able to add to our paychecks, salary or hourly rate wise. So I'm just looking for a solution to be able to continue working in this position. I know that Nashua wants to retain talent, and I love working here, and I look forward to continuing. But $190 a week is short money.
So, did you see like a huge increase in your June paychecks?
In the June paycheck, yes, because
Not the
that was
first
after
one,
my
not the first
37
one.
pays, I was told.
So, do you remember what so you're saying if you looked at your June 6th paycheck and you looked at others, that was where you saw the 33%. Is that how you compared it?
What I was looking at was typically my paycheck would be $300, and then after the new health insurance went through, my new paycheck is $190.
There's another issue going on. I don't know if we can talk about it in public with the city.
Okay.
Okay.
We're non-public on that.
I
Thank you.
appreciate your time. Thank you. Yes.
No, I just wanted to ask Ms. O'Gara, is that something we'd have to go into non-public as a board, not just as a committee?
Well, I guess the city has, and this is the first year I've seen it, there seemed to, and I don't know if this is Brooke, if this happened to Brooke. I can tell you it happened to some para-educators. So the city decided that the summer months when they're not working, that they want to, did you make a change in open enrollment?
No.
So it's not that. People who made a change, they're making them pay more money for the summer months. So that wouldn't be it.
Okay.
But
Thank
well,
you.
I'll
Thank
look
you
at
for
it.
thinking about
I will look at it tomorrow for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ms. Porter?
Okay, so this is something that, because I don't want to let this go. So this is something you'll look at and you'll
Yes.
get back to her?
Yes, I will.
Okay, so are you available to take a call from Ms. O'Gara
Yes,
tomorrow? And-
yes.
And you have her contact information?
I do.
Okay, I just want to be sure we touch base and don't let this
Anytime.
fall through the cracks. We need to follow up on this.
All right.
And we appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
Thank you for taking the time to listen.
Did the rest of the TIAs have similar things happen to them?
I don't know if all of the TIA group actually has the health insurance through the city.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Ms. Oden?
Ms. O'Gara asked a question I was going to
okay.
ask. Thank you.
Okay. We have another member that would like to speak on the handbook. We have none, so I'd like to put this off for the next Human Resources meeting until we find out some information before we put a motion in on this. Okay? Okay, the next thing we have is the policy GBJ, personnel files.
Do you want me to speak to it?
Yes, would you? Thank you.
So this is one of those personnel policies that currently exist with a number. I don't see the 8081.1. And so we just updated it to the GBJ. There's not a lot of changes. There's certainly not any changes to the process. It grants access to personnel files to certain people with a need to know.
Yes, Ms. Porter?
Okay, I had some questions on Part C. So, so there are some exceptions as noted in A. And I notice on the third bullet, Assistant Superintendent, it's all records, but no exception noted for the assistant. So the superintendent has except as noted, but the assistants do not.
It says that all records except as noted above.
Okay,
the
okay, oh,
assistant.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Okay, thank you. On the Human Resources Staff
Wait,
tab, there's no text. Oh, sorry.
So it was only supposed to be one assistant superintendent to cover both of them?
Okay,
So the next line that says Assistant Superintendent for Administration, that whole line should be crossed off. So for either Assistant Superintendent, it would be all records except as noted above. That means that they couldn't see benefit paperwork because on benefit paperwork is familial status, which is under the New Hampshire state reg is as confidential. They can't see verification of employment and certainly not medical records.
so the bullet after that is for Chief Operating Officer?
That would be Mr. Donovan.
Right, so that one says, so I guess going back to the assistant, it says all records, but it doesn't say,
All records except as noted above.
okay,
So just like the superintendent, they can see everything excluding benefit paperwork, verification of employments, and medical records.
Okay, so on the human resources staff, the blue bullet, there's no text after that. There's a dash, but no text.
Because I can see everything, I have to be able to see medical records. Surely, in the department, we do verifications of employments and we do people's benefits.
Right, so, but the one above that says Director of Human Resources, all records, no exception, and
There's no exceptions.
Right, right. But the next bullet under there, Human Resources staff, that's the people who work for you?
It should also say all records, no exception.
Okay, because there's nothing after that.
I know.
We can add that.
Okay.
Okay.
All records, no exceptions.
And then the Director of Technology and Director of Athletics and Wellness, it doesn't say except as noted.
It should.
Okay.
Director of Plant Operation, only records pertaining to personnel. except
Well,
as
Director of
noted.
Technology and Director of Athletics and Wellness, those two, the two last bullets.
Oh, Director of Plant Operations, only records pertaining to next line personnel except as noted
Right.
above. And the food service director is okay. Director of Technology should have the same reading,
Yep,
and so should the Director of Athletics and Wellness.
okay. And then in number 4, where it says aides, do we call those paraeducators?
No, we should have, we called them paraeducators. Actually, I thought we could strike all of that because it's already in the collective bargaining agreement. And it's also a state law that anybody can go and have access to their personnel file and ask for a copy of it. So
Okay,
if you want, we can make the corrections and bring it back to the next HR.
okay.
Okay.
I do have one more question, though. On number 6, it says, okay, it will be made available for inspection and to make memoranda abstracts. I assume that means copies.
Yeah,
And if it's the copies, who is making the copies?
the HR department makes the copies. If anybody can come in and look at their personnel file, what happens is, though, you have to look at it in the HR department, and there's somebody there with you while you're looking at your file. Anybody can request a copy, and we will make a copy for them.
So that doesn't need to be stated, that only HR personnel can make the copies?
Only HR personnel can make the copies, is correct.
No, does it say that in there?
It says,
Okay, so the school department personnel will be made available for inspection and to make copies. So that means that only the HR people make the copies.
we have to, this is about public access, this is not about the employee access. So what it's supposed to be saying is that we're going to give you the name, the position held, and the compensation. We're not going to give you telephone numbers or addresses of any school department personnel. And so that you can request that information. So the rest of the line probably needs to be reworked.
Okay, thank you.
For sure.
Thank you.
Ms. Oden?
So this is going back to HR?
It is.
Okay.
I think so.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions. On the first one, C, Assistant Superintendent for Administration. Assistant Superintendent, I'm sorry, the second dot. Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction is crossed out. Which Assistant Superintendent is that? Because we have
It should
two.
be for either assistant superintendent. It doesn't, whatever, we talk about title changes, one's elementary, one's secondary. We don't have curriculum and we don't have it broken out that way. I think it's just easier if you say the position of assistant superintendent, so whatever happens in the future, you know that either one has access to all records.
Or it could be plural, Assistant Superintendents.
It can be,
Okay.
yes. That's a better selection.
Also, in number 1, Human Resource Department shall establish a checkout system for all staff personnel records, excluding benefit paperwork verification or employment and medical records for supervisory personnel that have a need to know for such records. My question is, if a principal is interviewing a teacher from another school, do they have a right to go in and look at the personnel records for that individual?
They have, no, but if a principal is interviewing a teacher from another school, the principal should be calling the principal of that school for a reference.
Okay, okay. I have one other question. I was told of a situation a few years ago, where a teacher had rebutted an observation report, stapled the rebuttal onto the evaluation, and when the individual went to central office to read the evaluation, the rebuttal was not attached, but there was a staple hole where the rebuttal was. What would we do in a situation like that?
So if the person came in and saw, so it goes from the school, so sometimes it happens at the school level, and it comes into the department, the person, if they still have a copy of it, or they can still rebut it. There's a state law that you can rebut what is in your personnel file, and there's no time frame on it. So it could be something from, you could come in, 6 years have gone by, you've been an employee of the district, and you go through your personnel file and you see this in there and it's missing, or you feel now like you were upset about it and you couldn't rebut it, but now you want to rebut it, you can rebut it, and we would suggest that you put it in your file,
Okay.
always.
Okay. My understanding at the time that the individual was not able to put the rebuttal that had been written and had been attached was not there, but you're saying absolutely they can.
My
Okay.
understanding that is a state law that people can rebut.
There's a
And it
place on the
belongs-
evaluation, or there used to be, for your rebuttal, but if you wanted a longer rebuttal, and my understanding, this person had a longer rebuttal and stapled it on to the evaluation, and when they checked their file, it wasn't there. But they have a right
Yeah,
at any time to go in and attach it if they still have it.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Since we're going to rework the policy GBJ, we're going to not rescind at this time 8100.1 personnel files. So we're going to go on to 8214 tuberculosis screening to have rescind. Any questions on that?
would you like me to speak to
on
that?
it. There's attachment
Yeah.
on that.
So for a long time, we've thought that this is no longer, that TB screening is no longer an issue, and finally, we decided to call some people. So we called over to the Nashua Public Health, and that person, she gave us the coordinator. She's actually the coordinator for communicable diseases. And she said, no, you don't need to do that screening at all. That's our responsibility, and we work through the hospitals and the doctors and for that. And then to make sure, I called up to Concord, and I spoke to a nice man, and they both referred to the supervisor, and they told, so Michelle in my department had called Nashua Health, and then I called Concord, same answer that we have. We have, especially New Hampshire, very low incidence of TB.
So I like the fact that we CC Bobby Bagley because she is our health coordinator here in Nashua. So if she's been copied on that, I'm confident that she would have said something.
Yep.
So,
So we'd like to rescind it.
like, I'd like to move to rescind the tuberculosis screening, 8214. I move to rescind it?
Second.
Okay. Okay, can, Ms. Porter?
Okay, I'm just writing everything down. Okay, on the motion to rescind tuberculosis screening, policy 8214, Mrs. Porter votes yes. Ms. Oden?
Yes.
And Ms. Timmons?
Yes.
Okay, so that passes 3-0.
Any questions, any concerns?
Nope.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Okay,
On the motion to adjourn, Mrs. Porter votes yes. Ms. Oden?
Yes.
And Ms. Timmons?
yes,
Okay, so we are adjourned at 6:15.
thank you.